Consider the following two mutually exclusive projects with the cash flows given below. Calculate the payback period, the discounted payback period, the IRR, the profitability index, and the net present value of each project. Which project would you choose, if any? You require a 15% return on your investment. Let's begin calculating the payback period for each project. For Project A, we have a cumulative cash deficit at time zero of $300,000. This is reduced to $280,000 after 1 year, $230,000 after 2 years, $180,000 after 3 years, and in the 4th year, we recover our entire initial investment. Therefore, the payback for Project A occurs sometime in the 4th year. It is actually 3.46 years, which is 3 years plus the $180,000 deficit remaining at time 3 divided by the $390,000 cash flow we receive in year 4. For Project B, we have a cumulative deficit of $40,000 at the beginning of the project. After 1 year, our deficit is reduced to $21,000. After 2 years, the deficit is reduced to $9,000. And in the 3rd year, we recover our entire initial investment. The payback period for Project B is 2.5 years. On a payback basis, we would select the project with a shorter payback period. We would select Project B that has a 2.5-year payback. To calculate the discounted payback, we first need to calculate the present value of our cash flows, discounting them at our required rate of return, which in this case was 15%. The present value of the cash flows for Project A are as follows. And on a cumulative basis, we can see that after 1 year, we have reduced our deficit to $282,000. After 2 years, we've reduced our deficit to $244,000. After 3 years, we've reduced our deficit to $211,000. And on a present value basis, we have recovered our entire initial investment in the 4th year. Therefore, the payback period for our project is 3 years plus the deficit after 3 years, which was $211,926, divided by the present value of the cash flows in year 4, which was $222,984. Our discounted payback period is 3.95 years. The present value of the cash flows for Project B are as follows. On a cumulative basis, we have recovered a portion of our initial investment but still have a deficit of $23,478 after 1 year. After 2 years, we have a $14,000 deficit. After 3 years, we still have a $2,000 deficit, and it's not until the 4th year that we recover our entire initial investment on a present value basis. The payback period, discounted payback period for Project B is 3.43 years. If we were to apply the discounted payback criteria, we would select Project B as it has the shorter discounted payback period. We can calculate the IRR of each of our projects using a financial calculator or an Excel function. We find the IRR for Project A is 16.2%, while the IRR for Project B is 19.5%. Based on the IRR criteria, we would select again Project B as it has the higher internal rate of return. To calculate the profitability index of each project, first we need to calculate the total present value that we receive for each project. For Project A, let's sum the present value of our cash flows. That's the $17,391 for year 1, plus $37,807 in year 2, plus $32,876 in year 3, and the $222,984 in year 4, for a total present value of $311,058. We divide this by our project cost of $300,000 and get a profitability index of 1.04. For Project B, our profitability index is the $43,434 present value divided by the $40,000 cost for 1.09. We would select Project B with the higher profitability index. The net present value is the present value of our cash flows minus the cost. The net present value of Project A is $11,058, while the net present value of Project B is $3,434. We would select Project A that has the higher net present value. In fact, the final decision should be based on the net present value since it doesn't suffer ranking problems associated with